Customer states that his son was out riding his grandparents' motor, hit a giant bump, the thing died, and now it will no longer turn over. I'm Josh Stover with Stover's Motors. Let's get this thing figured out. First things first, let's go ahead and recreate the problem. Customer says that this thing no longer turns over, so we're on the mower. We got the seat switch depressed, blades are in, electronic parking brakes. Turn that key, we hear the solenoid clicking, but we have a no start. Now that we've confirmed the issue, we got the no start issue, I want to go ahead and start thinking of the first things in my mind of what could have happened when this kid hit this bump. First thing that popped into my head dealing with motorcycles and dirt bikes is when something is jostled around real hard, it's easy to get an overfueling issue from a carburetor or possibly oil slosh up into the intake. Any of that going in the engine will cause it to die, and if you get too much, you can end up with a hydro lock issue. First thing that popped in my head, an easy way to check it is pulling this air box. Let's see what we got. Air box on this one's pretty cool. Pull these two levers, cover comes off. Pull the air filter off. When we take a look at it, you can see it's actually dry. We've got dust coming out. We don't have an over fuel issue or an over oil issue, it looks like, but we'll take a look down inside this intake. A little dirty. That's normal, but completely dry, so that's not our problem. Also off camera, just to verify this issue, I went ahead and pulled this cover, turned the motor over by hand on the flywheel, and the motor is spinning freely. So we now have eliminated that as an issue. On to the next thing. If we have a no start issue, we've got clicking going on. I need to see what the clicking is coming from. Is it coming from the starter down here, or is it coming from the starter solenoid, which is further up underneath this seat? Go ahead and click that key again. I can hear clicking. I'm going to feel the starter. Nothing down here at the starter. Clicking on the solenoid, I can feel clicking there, which means that's getting energized. So that's where I'm going to start. That's where I'm going to start looking for our problem. I was just talking to a buddy about this the other day. When it comes down to electrical problems, one of the best tools I found as a technician for diagnosing problems is this right here. It's called a power probe. You hook to power and ground on the battery. It energizes this. This point will tell you if you're touching something that's ground or something that has power. And if you, let's say you touch a circuit that's supposed to have power, you can actually energize that circuit and send power through this tip. Or you can also add a ground to that circuit. If you have a bad ground, you can test ground. Very handy tool, very nice to have. Quickest way I know to diagnose electronic things on these 12-volt systems. Let's go ahead and use this and figure out where the power issue's at. Positive, positive, negative to negative. You can see we're energized. High tone is positive, low tone is our negative. So obviously we've got power here at the battery. We're going to trace that lead down to the solenoid. We do have power at the first connection of the solenoid. When I activate the ignition switch, the solenoid is going to close. It should send power from this post over to this post. And I can tell you right now, I think we have a problem here because that post looks bent, which usually is an indication of an overheating issue. And these connections were actually loose a little bit ago. I've already snugged them up, but I believe that's going to be our problem. So I'm going to go ahead and connect power here. It's showing ground. Energize that circuit. We've got no power. Looks like we have a bad solenoid. Just to double check and verify that, I'm going to go ahead and put a jumper across that solenoid, see if it starts the mower. If that's the case, then we have verified that this is our problem. This mower key in the on position, I'm going to go ahead and use a set of jumper cables, just the clip here, so we have a direct current going from this side over to this side. I'm going to go ahead and jump that and see what happens. Yep, looks like that's our problem, but our battery's low. Let me go get a jump pack and we'll try this again. Hook up this jump pack, positive to positive, negative to negative. Get that hooked up correctly. Let's try this again. All right, again, key on. See if this thing starts. There we have it, guys. Looks like that's a diagnosis on this thing. We're going to go ahead and get the new solenoid on the way for this customer, get his battery charged back up for him. He can come pick this thing up and hopefully get it home before it starts snowing. Thanks for checking out this video. See you later.